Oh, we got a real mess to take care of today, folks. Those of you who caught the last episode know that the doors on my truck here were plundered by pirates. I mean, they just got in here and they robbed everything away. Not just this side, but they managed to get me on the other side too. I got like nothing here to work with. Piracy problem here in Saskatchewan is getting out of hand. But today we got to make the best of it, and we got to start reconstructing all this missing nonsense here so I can have a door again. Luckily, they were kind enough to leave me a few scraps to kind of work with here. So what I'm trying to do today is I'm trying to extend these inner panels of the door outwards to match the new fadeaway fender line. So I need to build all this out down here and up here and everywhere else. So to figure out at what height I need to join in my extension panels, I've just temporarily refit the upper portion of the door here. And I'm just going to take a scribe and I'll scribe a line inside of here. And I'll just do the same thing at the front here. Word of warning, in the coming days, weeks, months, years, eternities, we are going to be taking these outer door panels on and off about 8 million times. Well, what you saw me doing there is you saw me cutting away this inside flange here because we are going to join our extension panels right onto here, and we are going to be spot welding them to there. Just seemed like a logical option. So I've already cut out the start of my extension panel here, and this is going to fit on here like so. Right now we just have it overlapping here, but eventually it's going to get butt welded onto here. Now the next step here is I need to take this edge and I need to turn it so it's facing in this direction, so I have something to attach the outer door panel to. And you can see here I've left plenty of material along this edge here so that I can actually break that edge and turn it over, and then we'll end up with a 90-degree edge like this here so that we can attach our outer exterior panel to that. Now, before I go ahead and fold this edge over, what I did is I made an exact mirror image of this piece here. And the reason for that is it's a lot easier to make these pieces the same when they're flat. As soon as I start folding edges and stuff, it's a lot harder to take an accurate template from that. And the reason I'm doing both of these at once, left hand and right hand side, is, as I said in the last video, if I keep both sides progressing at the same rate, then in my mind, I'm only doing the job once. As soon as I get too far ahead on one side or the other, then I have to go back and try and remember and figure out what I did on the other side. Then I'm doing the job twice, and that's when mistakes get made. Now we get to go on a quest into the outer realm of my garbage dungeon to retrieve my bead roller. So come along as I trip over stuff and swear and regret the bad life choices that I've made. Wow, that was great exercise. I hope we get to trip over some more garbage very soon. On the subject of working in a cramped shop, YouTube has this great new thing where I think it's called like Ideas and Inspiration. And they send me a bunch of videos from other channels to show me or give me ideas on how to make my videos more appealing or ideas for new videos. So I looked on that there to see, always trying to improve, and I'm, so glad that YouTube is helping me out. And so what they're showing me that I need to do is apparently I need to build a 10,000 square foot shop at least, and start making videos on paying other people to build it for me, of course, because I'm not going to actually do the work myself. And then I also need to buy a $100,000 new diesel truck and make 2-hour-long videos of me paying somebody again to bolt on different wheels and tires onto it. And so again, thank you very much, YouTube, for that insightful bit of advice there. And it really shows that they really understand, what I'm trying to do here. And the only thing that baffles me is, of course, this is all artificial intelligence that's, kind of orchestrating this. And so they've got a pretty good idea of, how many views I get each month and how much money I'm making from YouTube. So I don't know where they get the impression that I'm going to have like $1 million to just build a new shop and start buying new trucks and paying people to bolt wheels on them. But I mean, again, long story short, I've got an appointment with the bank tomorrow for a $2 million loan for my new shop and my new diesel truck. So I guess wish me luck. You gotta spend money to make money. Well, I got both my pieces shaped up here, and I got the edges folded over, and I had to shrink these edges because there was too much material here and it was causing them to bow over, which we don't want. That we want them to be fairly straight. Now you may have noticed that there are 1/8" holes here in each panel, and I did that for a couple of reasons. The first reason is when I was shaping these, it allowed me to attach them together with a Cleco, and that way I had them both fitting together the same, and then I could make sure that they were symmetrical as I was shaping them. Now, because the holes are in the same spot, it also allowed me to attach these panels to the inner door frame in the same spot from side to side. Now, I'm going to attach this panel to the door frame. I can get my meat claws in here. And now I can take a scribe and I can scribe right along here, and then that'll give me my cut line so that I can butt weld this. And then when we're all done, this will look like a factory door jamb. It won't look like it's been added onto, and that's kind of the idea, is to make it look like nothing ever happened. Now we'll remove it again. So now you can see my scribe line here. Does that show up? I hope. And now I'll be able to cut right to that line, and then I'll be able to put the panel back on here, and I'll have a nice seam here for butt welding. The reason that I like these Clecos here compared to sheet metal screws is that originally when I was test fitting this panel on here, I had it so it was laying over top of this flange here, and then I just made sure that it this curve here accurately matched this curve on the inside here. And the reason that was important is so that I could get the other side fitting on the passenger side in the same spot. This curve is the same on the passenger side. So it made it easier. I didn't have to waste time, trying to guess or whatever. But because I cannot open this door on the driver's side right now because our foam and plaster buck is preventing the door from opening, it would hit if we try to open it. So I'm trying to build as much of this kind of in situ as I can before I have to open the door. If I lay it on like we originally had it like this, there's not enough room to get in behind to scribe it to kind of figure out where it needs to be butt welded, and there's not really enough room to do like a cut and butt, and there's also not enough room to get clamps in here to clamp it on. So that's again where the Clecos are nice, because I can just flip it around and fit it that way. Then I can scribe there, then I know where to cut to for my butt weld. And you can't really do that with sheet metal screws, because if I had sheet metal screwed this on, whatever the first layer that the screw goes through, the hole tends to get hogged out. And then if you try to flip it around and put it the other way around, then the screw, it just kind of spins and doesn't actually grab anything. So then you have to go to a bigger screw, and then you just end up with a massive hole that you have to weld up afterwards. Whereas with these Clecos, we can fit this thing on and off 800 million times, and it's not going to affect anything. So definitely a handy unit there. I'm just going to use my aviation shears to trim this panel back to the scribed line. We got this trimmed back, filed it a little bit to fit, and then you may notice that there are still these two little ears that I left on here. There's a good reason for that, I hope. I think I already mentioned that there's not enough room for me to get a clamp in here. And like I said, I can't open the door. And I also need a point of reference so that this goes on in exactly the spot that I want it to go back on. And so I left these two little ears on here so that I can reattach it with my Clecos. Well, we have our extension tack welded in place on both sides now, and I just tack welded it with the MIG. I'm going to be TIG welding this just because for me it's faster. Those of you at home who are building their own chicken truck, you're welcome to MIG weld it. It'll turn out just fine. I'm not going to fully weld this yet because general rule of thumb, don't fully weld anything until you're sure it's all going to work. So we got a ways to go before we're sure any of this is going to work. Our next step here is I need to build this lower portion of the door. Well, that was the easy part out of the way. So this is going to be the difficult part. I need to extend this out. And then it also has to come ahead about 5 inches. And I don't want the outer panel sitting directly up against this inner panel for 5 inches. So that means it needs to be set slightly in. And then at the very end, it needs to come out and step out to meet up with the outer panel. So there's only about a 1/2 inch that's actually going to be resting against the outer panel. It's not going to be impossible, but there's a certain amount of mental gymnastics here that has to be overcome. Not to mention on the driver's side, we have the additional challenge of the fact that all this is in the way of me opening the door. So I have to build all of this without the door actually opening. And this all needs to stay on here because I need this as my pattern to build the sheet metal panels for the fender. But I can't build that until I get the door built and installed. So yeah, we're going to have to get a little creative here, but I think I got a plan and hopefully it'll work. Well, now we're going to have to do some further excavating here on our Bondo sculpture in order to proceed with fabricating this inner piece. Well, we got this kind of recessed in here now, and here's the part where we start making things unnecessarily complicated. So if we were smart, I would just edge weld this right to this piece here, and we'd be done down the road. But I feel like we need to make this unnecessarily complicated for ourselves. So I'm using these radius dies on the bead roller to just put a curve on these front door pieces so that it has a bit more shape to it. We can add strength by adding shape, so it's not just a straight 90 welded together. Probably isn't really going to matter too much on this piece, but I was just bored and messing around, and I bought a whole box of these radius thingies at Princess Auto on sale, I think like last year. And I don't really normally have a use for them, but I figured we would play around with them for this job. It's the front edge of the door, and it's never going to be seen again, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Sure, this isn't really the intended purpose of these radius dies here, but Volatile doesn't play by the rules. We get to do whatever we want, whenever we want. Actually, these work fairly good, like if you're doing mini tubs on something and you don't want just a straight kind of a bend or whatever, you want them to kind of have a little bit of curve to them. Other than that, I don't really have much use for them. There's definitely better ways of doing this too, but it just kind of gets the bend started so we don't have to do as much hand work. It doesn't want to conform to this curve here. See, it's buckling up. So we're going to have to go over to the shrinker and shrink this down to help it come around, and then we'll run it back through here a couple more times, and then it'll be good enough. Okay, we got both of our pieces tack welded together here and all ready to weld. The side that's going to be exposed, and by exposed I mean that very loosely, because of the way that these doors open and tuck into the fenders here. It's literally going to be impossible to see any of this. Like it's completely buried. There's going to be another panel as part of the fender to keep rocks and stuff from coming up into here. So again, it's not even going to be visible. So this is essentially just a make work project here, as is this entire truck. But we're not concerning ourselves with trying to make this look good. It's just there, again, just for something to do, I guess. So I'm going to try to weld this with the least amount of filler material possible. That way I don't have a bunch of grinding to do. If we were trying to make this look nice, it is pretty much impossible to make a weld look good in a reverse curve like this. So if I was doing this and I was trying to make it look good, I would use more conventional metal shaping techniques, and I would try to put the seam somewhere through here, through a flat area, rather than through the reverse curve. But again, we're just kind of messing around here, so it's not going to matter. This is completely buried again, and when it does come time for body work and whatever, we'll just run a quick schmoo right through here, give a quick sand, and it'll be totally good enough. But again, if this was an exterior panel, we'd be trying to put the weld seam in a more strategic location where we could actually hammer and grind it and whatever and make it look nice. Here's the conclusion of our make work project. Like I said, just give it a quick one of these when it comes time for body work. And by the time it's painted and all put together, nobody will ever know that it was some cobbled together junk. I think it's just a factory piece. That's the idea anyways. And again, you can't even see this, so I don't know why we did this, but there it is. Let's put them on the truck. Bad news, everyone. The bank refused to give me a $2 million loan. My dreams of becoming a big-time, highfalutin YouTuber celebrity have been crushed forever. On the bright side, though, not all hope is lost. Yes, that's right. There's a way that you can help me continue producing the same terrible videos and continue working on horrible garbage instead of the stuff that YouTube wants me to work on. Yes, that's right. There's a way you can help to continue and prolong my suffering. We have a Patreon account set up where you can make a monthly contribution to the channel to help me continue working on garbage. We also have a PayPal donation button, as well as a membership thingy here on YouTube. Not only that, but we also have a very exciting announcement regarding merchandise. After almost 4 months of screwing around, we finally have new t-shirts available in the merch store. We're going to have to do that shot again. I think there was a bit of a miscommunication with our costume department. Nice shirt, though. So here's our 1935 Chevy Master t-shirt. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It took a couple of tries going back and forth, but I finally got something that I could live with. And there it is. This is, of course, a t-shirt of our 1935 Chevy Master, in case you didn't know that already. The shirt that is available in the store, believe it or not, it doesn't have any cat hair on it, and it's not covered in filth. I was trying to keep this clean, but it's just impossible around here. So there it is. Here's how the 1935 Master shirt looks like when it's been fitted onto a skeletal alien frame. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to look when it's been applied to a human being. You'll have to use your imagination for that, but there it is. Doesn't have anything on the back other than dirt and cat hair, probably. But there it is. Again, I'm pretty happy with this. Took long enough, that's for sure, but there it is. Here we have our Ancient Bodywork Preservation Society t-shirt. As you folks know, last year I founded the Ancient Bodywork Preservation Society as a way to prevent the loss of historic bad bodywork. So much of it gets cut out and thrown away, and every year more of it is gone forever, and we need a way to preserve it, to prevent it from being lost to the sands of time. So I started the ABPS Society last year, and I know a lot of you have been asking, well, Kyle, how can I help? How can I become a member? Well, good news. You can become a lifetime member of the Ancient Bodywork Preservation Society. All you have to do is purchase one of these t-shirts from our merchandise store, and you too can help to prevent the loss of historical bad bodywork. All the lap welded brazing jobs, all the slathered on lead, the old white lightning, black knight filler, 1/4 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inches thick, the old drill to fill method, all that stuff. People just aren't interested in how historically significant that stuff is. And again, once it's gone forever. So, here's your way to help out the cause. And I'm pretty happy with how this shirt came out. It's got the words on there, and then it has a fossilized chicken truck. That's, of course, the truck that we started with for building our chicken truck. And it's now been preserved on a fossil and emblazoned on this fine t-shirt here. Again, I apologize. We didn't have the budget to hire an actual human being to model our merchandise, but this is the best we can do. So there you go. There's another look at it. Yeah, you've seen it now. Okay. T-shirts are available on our online store at www.carterautorestyling.com. 100% of the proceeds from t-shirt sales goes towards me paying off my gambling debts or wasting more money on horrible old crusty vehicles. Well, a good day here today. We got our door jambs all tack welded together. We're not going to fully weld anything yet. Right here, I forgot to mention, but there's actually a factory seal that fits on the other side of this jamb. So I'm just welding it right to here, and then that will allow me to continue to reuse that factory door seal. A couple things to mention here. At the bottom of this, I am planning on rounding the door corners, but I just made it square for now, just because it was easier to fit all these pieces in place. But eventually this will be getting cut out and a rounded piece put in. Also at the front here, I haven't added on anything here because I'm not sure what I'm doing as far as the shape of the front here. So this is still kind of out in the open. Still got a bunch of fiddling and faddling around to get everything, dialed in 100%. But I'm just really happy to get the worst of the brain thinking out of the way and all the kind of heavy hitting work kind of figured out. One other thing here is we will be adding in a brace that runs from back to front here and ties into this. And it'll kind of serve two purposes. One, it'll help brace this door and keep this this front and back section nice and strong. We'll probably tie it into this original brace in here. And of course, this brace was there to prevent the original door outer panel from kind of drumming and whatever. So we'll just add this brace here, and that'll kind of have the same idea as this. Just keep that outer panel from drumming. I do want to add sound deadener to the outer sheet metal panel before we put it on for the last time, and I don't have any sound deadener here right now. So until I do, I don't want to make this brace, because I'll need to measure that sound deadener so I know how far in to place the brace across here. We don't want that brace pushing up too hard against the door and putting a weird spot in it. We just want it kind of resting there, just again to kind of keep that panel from drumming. I don't think we're going to have an issue with that. But for the amount of time it takes to make a brace across here, I'd rather be safe than sorry. It's a lot harder to fix later on down the road. It's pretty annoying when a panel's buzzing as you're driving. Goal for the next episode here is to get the outer door sheet metal all finished up. So I need to weld this upper piece to the lower piece. The driver's side is pretty well ready to weld, other than trimming it to fit. The passenger side's not even anywhere close to being ready, so we got quite a bit of work to do in the next episode, and I got a lot of tips on how to do a long weld seam, how to get that all fitting up really nice for you. So you'll probably want to miss that episode.